Hi.
Hey, Lesley. Okay,
Hi.
so tell us about yourself, Lesley.
I am from Los Angeles, and I do solo performance, playwright, director, actress. I produce shows, and what else? I'm Filipino.
Great.
All up in here.
It's white Montana. And so you are here doing a one-woman show.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
So my show is entitled B, Jesus plus Drugs equals Beauty. Obviously, Montana knows nothing about drugs.
No, definitely not.
So it's basically my personal testimony about how God brought me out of drug addiction.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I bet that's really powerful.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
really intense. I play like a million characters. The main character is God, who isn't like God. God is a fairy-like English woman who takes 7 different drugs through rehab. So the drugs are actually going through rehab, and they're telling the story about B, who is representative of me, and her boyfriend Ben, and their story through drugs.
Oh, so it's kind of like
Wow.
a representation of each drug addiction and their subsequent withdrawals and
Yeah.
overcoming.
Yeah, so the drugs are letting go of the people.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow, that sounds really great.
Yeah.
And so, where is your show going to be played? Where are you performing?
I am performing at the Crystal Theatre at 5:30 on Friday, and at the Roxy Theatre 3 on Saturday at 4:30 or 4 and 7.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And then, so can you give us a hint of like what are some of the different drugs that you'll be like that are in your show?
There's 7 of them
Okay.
actually, and I've done all of them, all 7.
I
love that.
The number 7, is that significant towards like the 7 deadly sins?
Yes,
comparing
exactly.
the sins to the
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Drugs. Okay.
Exactly. So it's a 7-step rehab program instead of 12 steps.
Okay.
So the 7 steps go through the 7 deadly sins.
Wow.
And each drug is connected to one of the 7 deadly sins.
That's gonna be so great.
Yeah, that's a great concept.
Yeah, that is a great concept.
Like, how many places have you performed this before you come in here?
I performed at the Hollywood Fringe. So this is my 2nd stop, and hopefully my goal is to tour around the country and then around the world.
Wow.
Cool.
And you had quite a time getting here. You took,
Yeah.
you took the Greyhound bus.
Yes, the Greyhound, the good old Greyhound bus. 30 hours.
Oh.
30 hours on the Greyhound. I went from Los Angeles to Las Vegas to Salt Lake City to Butte and then to here.
Oh, Butte.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like that's the thing about Montanans is that like when a person says Butte, it's like oh Butte. So that always seems to be the case.
I have no idea what that means, but I'm laughing.
You know, like you probably have a city in your state where it's like Northerners.
Los Angeles.
That's funny.
Yeah, but this seems like a good show. Do you have any? Do you have like a little teaser, like any line you want to kind of like portray, just kind of like get people a little excited for it?
Can you be like one of the drugs?
Oh, let me see. People love crystal.
Oh,
People
yeah.
love crystal because crystal is kind of like I always see crystal. It's crystal meth, and people love crystal. People are like I want to meet Crystal because she's kind of like my Marilyn Monroe. You know, she's I always think of Marilyn Monroe when I do Crystal. She's very much like, hi, I'm Crystal. You know, and she's so like she's very like I see crystal meth as kind of like a higher class drug. You know, like people that do crystal meth kind of are more not always, but it's kind of like a designer drug, you know. And at least from what my experience is like, my experience. Oh yeah, I do a lot of drugs.
No,
but it's kind of like a designer drug, and people that do it are more high class or something, or I mean that's the stereotype.
So one of the sin that's associated with crystal is would that be lust?
Yes, exactly.
Because I thought it was like because Marilyn Monroe is
and that's so interesting because like the way that Montana perceives meth is so different. That's not like
we don't call it crystal meth.
No,
we just
and it's
use
not
meth, and it's like meth.
And it's not the high class. Like you're not, if you were like high society, high class here, you wouldn't be doing meth. You'd definitely be doing something else. Yeah, and so it's always like the real like impoverished families or like low poverty and on reservations.
It's highlighted mostly in a lot of rural areas in Montana, but a lot of times there's. I think it's mostly gets swept under the rug in like bigger cities. It's not as seen as much or even talked about as much in the cities like Missoula and all those places. But that doesn't mean it does not exist.
Exactly. So that's very interesting that it's more of like a high class thing there than it's so different here.
Interesting.
It is interesting. Okay.
So one more time before we go, before we move on to the next guest, tell us when and where are you going to be performing this?
So Friday, it's at the Crystal Theatre at 5:30, and then Saturday it's at the Roxy Theatre 3 at 4 and 7.
Awesome. And then can people look up like more of your work on YouTube or anything like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you?
But it's not PG-13.
That's fine. Okay. Adults only, everyone.
Adults only, definitely. And just look up Lesley Asistio, Lesley Asistio.
Great.
So I have a lot of different videos on YouTube.
Great. Thank you very much,
There's a link
Lesley.
to them on our website.
Awesome.
zootownfringe.org.
Great.